The term migrant workers has been appearing more frequently and more consistently in the headlines, usually preceded by the terms illegal or exploited. So what is the reason behind the sudden controversy that seems to be surrounding migrant workers? And, more importantly, why has exploitation of them become an understood necessary evil for the United States economy? Tonight, Working Class Heroes answers these questions and more as we take an in-depth look into the lives of migrant workers. I'm Nicolette Harris, and now, over to our in-the-field correspondent, Mari Jacobson.
Most people have a pre-formulated concept about the lives of migrant workers and illegal immigrants in the United States. Today we're here in front of High Tech High interviewing students on their opinions on migrant workers. So Chris, what do you think about migrant workers?
Well, migrant workers really help out the U.S. economy, and they lower prices of items like produce in America because they work for a lot less than what Americans would normally work for.
So, what do you think about migrant workers?
Well, I think they're a great help to the community, and they really help out when it comes to doing jobs that other people don't do.
So, Josh, what do you think about migrant workers?
Well, they add a very positive impact to our society and the economy. They forward the economy by providing us with certain produce. I won't say it's cheap labor, but if they're here and they want to be in the United States and they are willing to work, unlike some people in the United States are, then I respect that they are willing to work.
Latin American workers, which will be the main focus of our segment, started coming to the United States during the Great Depression. Due to the ruined financial state of the country, their wages were often extremely low, and the labor was time-intensive and rough. Conditions were unforgiving, and workers were rarely able to better their lives, having to keep working to barely escape bankruptcy. In the last decade, the issue of illegal immigration has become more and more pressing, and more awareness has arisen towards the problems that occur with the increasing presence of a migrant labor force. We are going to discuss the problems that specifically affect those workers, such as housing and wages. Economically, the United States is more dependent on the flow of migrant labor than many would imagine. According to the Inter-American Development Bank, migrant workers in the United States sent home a collective $62.3 billion in 2006, which is a 14% increase from 2005. Mexico, Brazil, and Colombia have the highest receiving rate of remittances. With the pressing issue of illegal immigration, however, the INDB estimates that the number of remittances will begin to decline, which could have negative effects on the economies of not only the recipients, but the United States as well.
Just with Social Security alone, the undocumented person pays more than $7 billion to the Social Security of this country. And when they send money back home to the Philippines or Mexico or Central America or to wherever they're from, 75% of that money stays in this country, in the United States. So they're providing a lot for the economy of this country. They provide a lot more benefits than the services that they're using, such as educational opportunities and health care when they say, oh, the schools are closing or the hospitals are closing. It's true they're closing, but it has nothing to do with the undocumented people. We just need to have educational health care reform.
Migrant farm workers as a whole do not have adequate housing, and the issue is often glossed over by the government. In some circumstances, employers are not required to provide housing for their workers, and thus, it is upon the migrant workers themselves to find shelter for their families, often on a sub-minimum wage. Also, if the worker does not have legal status, housing seems an even bigger nuisance, as many landlords mandate that tenants provide proof of legal residence.
The migrant workers that are in this country live in very humble situations. Many times they live in the canyons, like where we started our work with Border Angels back in 1986. Literally living in canyons. Many times they live in cardboard shacks. Sometimes they live on the land where they're actually doing the work in these very depressed living conditions, and it's they're all huddled together, and sometimes there's many of them just with one bathroom or no bathrooms. So it's a very sad situation.
Those who speak out against the assimilation of illegal immigrants into U.S. society, such as groups like the Minutemen, argue that these are conditions that all illegal immigrants and that they should obtain citizenship the proper way. However, the current legal process is a taxing and time-consuming affair that can take several years.
People just want to be able to provide for their families, and that's something that 250 million undocumented people around the world are doing. 96% of them doing it in other countries, not the United States. Only 12 million of them have come to this country. A third of those came here legally. Their visas expired and they stayed. The other two-thirds came here the only way they could, without papers, because there's no visa for poor people. That's one of the biggest myths. Why don't those people get online? There is no line. There is no line for poor people. So either they starve to death where they're from, or they try to enter the country through the desert, and unfortunately 2 people die every day crossing the desert. We need to have humane and comprehensive immigration reform.
Meanwhile, outsourcing of work seems to be increasing at a rapid pace, which creates difficult situations for the people and countries from which many migrant workers originate, creating a cyclical pattern of opportunity forming into exploitation. Tonight, Working Class Heroes has covered the basic information on migrant workers and the hardships that they go through each day. Being a migrant worker makes seemingly easy tasks a lot harder to accomplish, such as finding adequate housing and earning enough money to support your family. It's our responsibility to become more aware of these things and to take measures to remedy them. Until next time, this is Working Class Heroes, signing off.
Our website, www.borderangels.org.